Hey everybody, welcome to So with Joe. Today we're picking up where we left off last time, working on my gene project, and today we're talking about how to manage invasive species, and also how to live a longer, healthier life. And they are related. We'll get to that. Right now I got to get some thread on my big blanket needle. I am a normal-sized human. This is a big needle. I am not miniature. So we spool off some heavy black thread. Thread the needle. Now, our first topic is coming out of Germany. Germany has many invasive species that come in and take over the waterways and the land and are nuisances and cause a lot of damage and choke out other species and just generally wreak a lot of havoc. So a new company has come up with a way to deal with a lot of these invasive species, and their solution is to eat them. So, a gentleman started a food truck in Berlin, and his menu includes dishes from a lot of invasive species in the area, which he collects from legitimate sources, from clean sources, fishermen and the like. So his menu includes Louisiana crawfish, which is an invasive species that's choking out their waterways. Baked nutria. I don't know for sure what nutria is. I thought nutria was a weed, but I could be wrong. So, baked nutria. Chinese crab. Apparently the Chinese crab that are in Germany just get massive. Carp sandwiches. Carp is another invasive aquatic species. He serves Nile goose. And the one that really caught me off guard and thought was really interesting, and they are a nuisance species with a very high population in Germany, and they serve or they are hunted to control the population, and this food truck serves raccoon steaks. And more. The company calls themselves HolyCrab with an exclamation point, which is fairly clever adaptation on the popular wholesome curse. And his motto, and I love this, is if you can't beat them, eat them. The other interesting thing that he does is he sells the Chinese crabs back to China, because they're an invasive species here, but over there they are a delicacy and are quite rare. So one part of the world they're a nuisance and they grow way too big and destroy a lot of things, and the other place they're considered such a delicacy that they can't keep them around. So, solution, problem, solution, done. I like it. Now, this food truck apparently inspired a movement called the Invasive movement. So it's the consumption of invasive species as a thing, not just one food truck in Germany. So be on the lookout, whatever. And to be very fair, this is probably already done in many places. But I think to have businesses which focus solely on invasive species is a really good way to go, because it draws attention to the problem as well. And more people realize, oh, I've got a bunch of this, whatever, this, bunch of Nile geese on my property and they're a nuisance. I should phone this guy and see if they can do something about it. Or, hey, I've got a bunch of Nile geese, why don't I eat them, rather than them just being a nuisance. And it just makes sense, it's what you have, like whatever you have most of should be what you're eating. If it fulfills your nutritional requirements and whatnot, like if there's a lot of it, why wouldn't it be? That's one thing I always think locally. How it's possible for homeless people to not have food, because there's so many geese and rabbits and stuff. If they would trap and hunt a little bit in the city, they could be very productive. They'd probably draw some criticism from that, but if they're hunting and trapping to sustain their life because they can't do anything else, I'd support that. If the homeless population want to, hunt the Canada geese when they come through on their migration, why not? And they're so used to people, you can get really close to them, so all you need to do is bring like a long stick. Anyway, sorry, I got completely off on the wrong foot. My apologies. Oh man, but that's the thing. That's one thing that people don't seem to realize, is that if you eat something, it came from somewhere. Someone had to kill it. Talk about getting back in touch with the environment and the way things are, and the natural world. Well, the natural world is a violent place, and things are killed constantly in nature. So if you really want to be in tune with nature, you need to be in tune with all aspects of nature. And I don't know, I think I haven't personally killed many of the things that I've eaten, but some. And so I know what goes into it. And I'm an omnivore. I eat everything. And I definitely grew up on meat and potatoes and wild meat a lot of the time. We didn't have a very monetarily rich family, So we had to hunt to have meat. So every year I was involved with all the aspects of hunting, harvesting, processing meat. No, it wasn't pleasant, but then you have food, then you have meat. Wait a sec, I just need to switch papers here. Next thing I wanted to talk about quickly was how do you live longer? How can you have a longer, happier life? And that's just being optimistic. There's a study done saying optimistic people live longer. And live happier, healthier lives. And in particular showed 73% reduction in heart disease. And how are these related? How is being an invasivore and an optimist similar? Sounds like the setup for a joke. To me, it is that you can't always control your experiences, but you can control how you react to those experiences. So if you have a bad experience and you're optimistic and you say, hey, that might not be the worst thing, you know, we'll come back from this, you know, we'll carry on, things will get better, this too shall pass. Kind of lost where I was going there, but you can live longer by being optimistic, and your experiences and how you react to them also with the food truck, the food's gonna be good. It's all in your mind. You know, if you have a problem with eating something that's usually considered an invasive species or dirty or, you know, whatever the case may be. You know, some people don't eat crab because it's a bottom feeder. You know, like everybody's got their own view on things. You know, a lot of people don't like carp because it's a bottom feeding fish. You know, goose just because they're geese, and people think that they shouldn't eat them, but geese have been eaten throughout time. As long as there have been geese, they've been eaten. So yeah, you can't always control your experiences. In the case of the food truck, you could just not go there. But I think it's a great way to, well, especially eating locally. You know, there's so much stress on local support. If there's a local company that is cleaning up invasive species and also providing a food source, I think that should be supported by the government, you know, because they are doing a public service. Anyway, I'm going to call that one an episode. Made some progress today. And we're starting both sides going down. This is going to be a big patch. I'm hoping all the way down to the bottom here. There's one hole way at the bottom I'm hoping to get to. So yeah, this entire section here all the way down, it's a big chunk. Big chunk. But I think I can pull a few pins here. Maybe move a few. But I can do that in between episodes. Thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate the time we get to spend together. Till next time, keep chillin'. Don't forget your cookie. Peace.